Hi, good evening, all of you. I welcome you all for this 3 days webinar series, Rail and Metro Infrastructure 2021. So, the today's topic for the discussion is digitalization in railways role of multidimensional BIM technology. So, we can start with Sonali ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. I don't want to bore everybody with too much technical information, so I'm going to try and make this presentation, talk about a few examples of where we've actually implemented multidimensional BIM in the rail and metro infrastructure projects. But I'm going to talk about the role of multidimensional BIM and essentially cover what is BIM, what are the different dimensions of BIM, and how can we adopt a 5D BIM on an infra rail project, along with what are the benefits of BIM adoption. A little bit about ourselves. I'm an architect by education and a founder at Excellize. We are a 16-year-old company. We have offices in US, in Qatar and India, and we're doing projects in those geographies, right from infrastructure and building projects to airports and hotels, everything that we can think about. So essentially, what is BIM? BIM is not a tool. It's actually a process. It's a process that lets us build virtually before we can build physically. It's a process where all of the consultants and the contractors are all looking at one single source of truth. And this lets us visualize better, it lets us analyze what we are going to build and just have a better product when we actually have the physical structure built. There are different dimensions in BIM, starting with 2D up to 8D. Very briefly, I'm going to talk about the dimensions of BIM. 3D, everybody's familiar. When we have the height component, we can see a three-dimensional replica of 2D for two-dimensional drawing. The fourth dimension is time. So essentially, when we link our project plan, MSP project plan or a P6 project plan to our model, we can simulate how the construction is going to happen. And that's essentially the fourth dimension. Fifth dimension is cost. For every project, every construction activity, there is a cost involved. Being able to connect our ERP systems to the model, to our project plan, and getting real-time information of what money has been spent, what is our cost to completion, all that information is what the fifth dimension of BIM talks about. Sixth dimension is sustainability. So we can do energy analysis, we can do heat load analysis, do better planning of where we want to keep our openings and structures. That's in terms of the heat. We can also do better calculation of how our carbon footprint is in a building based on the materials that we are choosing. 7D is the operations and maintenance. So actually, if we think about it, construction of any project is a very small part of the entire life cycle. And 7D is where we actually want to focus so we can better manage our buildings and infrastructure when it gets into an operation stage. The eighth dimension is the safety during construction. How do we ensure there is safety at site? Also, there is logistic planning that we need to do. All those activities become part of the eighth dimension. So like I said, BIM impacts the life cycle of a structure, right from the design to construction to operations. If we look at globally what is happening in terms of a BIM mandate, almost all countries have either mandated it or in process of mandating, where it's government that is mandating it. There is private contractors who are already doing it. So in India also there is a lot of push to have 5D BIM or any kind of BIM implementation on infrastructure projects. We've been working for the last 5+ years on projects for Maha Metro, Nagpur Metro primarily being one of them, where there is 5D BIM implementation. And very recently, we've started working with Delhi Metro, where the BIM implementation was happening earlier. We have been monitoring the integrated approach to 5D BIM there. So, what is the use of BIM? It's not just to help us visualize, but it's also, like I mentioned earlier, with the multi-dimensional aspects. You can do your quantity takeoff. You can detect clashes. It can be a excellent marketing tool also. You can extract 2D drawings out of the 3D drawings. So it's not a separate effort that you need just to generate 2D. This all ultimately saves time. And then once we have a 3D model, there is all mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality benefits, which we are seeing a lot of use in the real estate sector right now. So just a couple of examples of how this BIM has been implemented on a few projects from Nagpur Metro and Delhi Metro. These examples are from those two projects. So if we look at what is happening globally in terms of 5D implementation, we know that Crossrail in London has seen implementation right from having a common data environment where all the data is in one location to having an asset information model. So the model is being used for asset maintenance, asset management. Then there is Sydney Rail expansion, where they have used up to 4D for scheduling logistics. Then there is MRT Malaysia, where it's the model along with the coordination that is being used, and 4D and 5D is proposed currently. What has been done at one of the projects we worked on is we've set up a digital platform where you get all the data from the 3D model. There is the time component from the project plan, cost component. All these are integrated. Besides that, the non-design related activities of contract management, program management, all are also part of this platform. And there is a every user who's part of this construction ecosystem is accessing this platform and using the data out of this platform. So we have 2D models that are being prepared either on a Bentley tool or an Autodesk tool. We have cost data coming from SAP. We have a Primavera schedule, and all of this is integrated into a tool called as RIB, where you get a single window dashboard. So here you can track the progress of your project, not just as a 3D visual monitoring, but also as a cost and as a schedule completion. Some dashboards that we can typically see on how we can track our progress with having a BIM approach. Here you can see that there is a 3D model, there is a project schedule, and when you link the two together, you can see what is happening in terms of the progress on the project. Is it going as per plan or is it delayed? Some of the BIM benefits that we can realize are, again, starting with the 2D drawings that are there. Once you have a digital platform, you know what are the 2D CAD data available, what is the documents available, and you can start tracking that I submitted so many drawings, these are not approved, so many are for review. So essentially, this is a dashboard that the person who contractor can see it, the detailed design consultant can see it, and the owners can see it. So it's very transparent and just makes the construction happen very faster and seamlessly. So in terms of the 4D, what kind of dashboard can we see? So this is typical viaduct with the piles and foundation. And here we can see that there is a planned activity against that plan baseline. Visually, we can see things are delayed or sometimes things are activities are on time. So that was against a baseline what was happening. But if we just wanted to compare for a small section, that what happened in 1 month, in month number 2 against planned and actual, we can narrow it down to that granular level that for just 2 months, I want to know what has happened or what will happen because of the delay that is there, the cascading delay. Um, this is that walkthrough I wanted to play, but I'm just going to skip that. Essentially, here you can simulate how the construction is happening, and we can generate dashboards similar to this, where we can see what is the activity that is delayed, what is on time, what is early, and at a micro level in terms of how many piles are done or how many pipes have been installed, we can track percentage that this was planned and it's so much is complete. So it gives us an idea of how much material also is getting used as we start construction. Um, if we don't want a visual representation, there is graphs which can also help us track what is happening. The green curve is what is actually planned. Sorry, the blue one, and the green one is as of date where we are. And based on that, the dashed line tells us what is our the CPM, the completion time that we will, if we continue around the same schedule. So such kind of information is extracted by linking the time and the model. There is other dashboards that can be generated. We have different land parcels that we need to acquire. How much has been acquired? How much is under litigation? How much government is owning? How much is private ownership? That kind of data also can be built into a model, and we can track against that also what we had planned and what is actually happening. The next dimension I want to talk about is 5D, the fifth dimension, which is the cost. So here we can see that there is a planned cost and an actual cost, or rather the quantity. So for every pile that is there or pile cap, we can track what has been planned and what is actually happening. This gives us an idea at what level we are delayed or on track. So if we have planned for 20 piles, but we only finished 18, that means two more, and which those are and how to catch up, all that kind of planning can be done much more accurately. Similarly, that was at an element level. Here we can see on month that for the month of February we had planned so much. Up to February we had planned so much. Where are we against all the activities in a construction project? So at any kind of granular level, we can monitor from a element level or to a project level or to a time component. That kind of monitoring can be done. I mentioned about the sixth dimension, which is the sustainability. So here we can actually locate our model geolocated, take the sun path, and based on that particular sun path, analyze how much is the light penetration. Do we need to add skylights? Do we need to make our windows bigger? That kind of analysis can be done through the BIM model. Asset tagging is the seventh dimension. We can track how many assets are there in our project, how much equipment is there, out of which how much has been approved, for how many we have actually built into the model, how many has been procured. That kind of asset data can also be mapped. So here we can track how many assets are commissioned, how many are operationals, and how many need to be commissioned. So not just at a pre-construction stage, but this kind of asset management can be done even when we are in operation stage. So this is what has been done at Nagpur Metro, and the MD himself has been very pro the BIM implementation and the benefits of it, right from setting up a war room to monitor things. So what are the advantages of having a BIM model? Some of the significant benefits is it is just going to accelerate the project completion. Definitely there's going to be saving, not just in terms of money, but the time that we need. There will be less unbudgeted changes because it's a visual tool. We are already seeing what's happening. And when we get into operations, it's just much better to manage the operations. In terms of ROI, definitely there is a cost to implementing BIM on any project, but the ROI that we get is much higher in instead of just not investing. Because of lower errors, we get benefits. Because of faster construction, we get benefits. And there's no rework. So essentially, in the long run, it always pays off to do multi-dimensional BIM on any kind of project. Thank you. Is there any questions?
It was a good description, ma'am. It's we have, in fact, we are just roaming around BIM these days. It's all about BIM and the data, the ease that the BIM gives you for collecting and organizing the data is unparalleled. That's for sure. I wanted to understand that in India, uh, do we really have somebody who is really asked at this point? Somebody is uh, inquisitive enough to ask you for a kind of 4D BIM implementation in their design and a 5D BIM implementation in their design, because I am hearing it that all the metros are planning for it, but nobody is really jumped into it yet.
You, I think, need to look at a lot of RFPs that are coming out now, not just metros, but even high-speed rail, everywhere, even the road infra.
Yeah.
Everywhere, BIM is actually becoming a very key factor. In fact, besides Nagpur and Pune Metro, I mean, Mumbai Metro has BIM requirements. Surat Metro has some BIM requirement. High Speed Rail has that. UP Metro has got a tender where at that stage they have put in BIM up to 5D. And it's, I think, now become a norm. It's not something which is just a good to have thing. It's become a necessity now.
Fantastic, and that's what I want to hear, because I'm hearing it from a long time now. And but as far as the implementation is concerned, earlier the problem was that there was no one as a service provider for it. It's good to have you in front of us who does these things and who is confident in implementing all these things. I think the confidence is going to rise on this front, and because we have a tendency to keep these new technologies in the outsider's hand and not to implement it here and keep it in our control. So, of course, I think it's fantastic presentation. Thank you. Thanks for your answer.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. This is very insightful presentation. And we also thank you, Mr. S.M.H. Adil sir, joining us. Now the time is also going on, so we are ending the session now, and wishing good day, healthy and safe life. Thank you.
Thank you.